Hey, it's Jake Tapper. He was just in the previous story. And he even clowned Trudeau. Like I said, guys, it is fucking astounding to see the turn that is happening lately on Trudeau. We covered it yesterday. Was that yesterday? Pretty sure it was. Polls, a major poll from Ipsos, not a small polling firm, by the way, not a partisan polling firm, say that 56% of Canadians want a different government, want a different leader. I knew that there was something underlying it, and speaking with my father earlier, he revealed something that I was not aware of, and I'm very thankful for that. But let's get to all the clowning that's happening on Trudeau before we might be able to get to the root cause of this. CNN journalist humiliates Trudeau over failed vaccine rollout. Duh. CNN anchor Jake Tapper has challenged Prime Minister Justin Trudeau over his apparent claim that the American broadcaster did not work with the facts when they reported on his abysmal handling of vaccines. You can see how fast he crumbles under even just the most cursory amount of scrutiny. The guy is used to just ongoing praise over and over again in his little insulated bubble out there in Ottawa, or just being brought up as being the second coming of the greatest prime minister in Eastern Canada in history, right? There was nothing this kid could do wrong, but when even Jake Tapper is taking pot shots at you, you know you might have fucked up. And the conservative leader, Erin O'Toole, who we will get to in a minute, I don't know what to make of this guy. Mostly I don't like him. I haven't liked him since he's been announced as the new leader of the Conservative Party. And there's, reasons why. Raised Jake Tapper's reporting in Canada's House of Commons, Trudeau responded by saying, wah, it's 2021. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's really important that we work from facts. Oh, okay, so you'll go ahead and quote CNN unironically when the facts work out for you, but then when somebody else wants to quote them unironically to just throw your own... Funny, right? Tapper tweeted on Tuesday that he agrees, and then went on to ask, what are the facts about Canada's vaccine acquisition and rollout? I know them. Let's see what Jake Tapper has to say. It's weird that I have to side with Jake Tapper, but I guess a broken clock can be right twice a day. He went on to ask, what facts in this Paula Newton piece does Justin Trudeau dispute? Charles Adler, who isn't always so critical of the Prime Minister, said that the Prime Minister over the weekend said Liberals can always do better. That's the party, not the ideology. This was a good day to start the test that proposition. Someone failed. Justin Trudeau has a fairly dismal performance in Parliament today. Yay! After he told Canadians that vaccines aren't enough to end mask mandates and social distancing restrictions. It looks like Anthony Fauci has his ear where you're just going to have to wear masks, I don't know, forever. I would anticipate Trudeau probably stumping for wearing masks in the shower because you wouldn't want your boyfriend to breathe on your neck and give you COVID. Anyways, maybe it's a good thing we aren't getting so many vaccines. First blood clot allegedly linked to AstraZeneca vaccine reported in Canada. The Public Health Agency of Canada reported Tuesday that a woman in Quebec is the first to experience a blood clot potentially linked to the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine. The Public Health Agency of Canada reported Tuesday that a woman in Quebec... got the old bloody clotty. Wonder if she's predisposed to clotting. Gross. Woman reportedly received the Covishield vaccine, the Serum Institute of India's version of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 shot. Well, did she call tech support to see if there's anything that they can do? Lots associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine were first reported in Europe in early March. Yeah, but there was no real data from it. And this is, of course, just one incident, okay? I'm not saying that it's widespread, and once again, if you feel like you need to get vaccinated, by all means, there are several that are out there. Get the jab if you want it, right? If you think that it's best for you and your family, and just know the numbers as well, right? Statement released from the Damage Control Center, the Public Health Agency of Canada, said that reports of blood clots with low platelets in people vaccinated with the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine are very rare, and the report of this case shows that Canada's vaccine safety monitoring system works. Yeah, somebody got blood clots. That means that reporting and our investigative journalism is 100% on point. Nothing to fear here, citizen. Just look away. Look at the shiny penny rolling down the middle of the street. If you don't like that, here's a pinwheel. Next question, assholes. Statement said that Health Canada has been taking action since the first reported clot to ensure that the Covishield, get a better name, okay? The jab, would be safe for the public. The National Advisory Committee on Immunization reported on March 29th that the AstraZeneca vaccine not to be used in people under 55 who were more susceptible to the rare vaccine-associated clots. Yeah, vaccinate older people. They're the ones who we know, who we can point to, who are at risk, right? They should be the ones first in line getting it, but that's not the rollout that's happening up here in Canada because Justin Trudeau can't prioritize things for shit. But not according to him. Trudeau says he has no regrets over Canada's vaccine rollout and procurement because making sure that, 10% of the population has access to the first of two jabs is adequate. This guy's a moron. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said on Tuesday that he had no regrets over his government's handling of the procurement and rollout of vaccines. Canada currently ranks 45th. Hey, they've went up 2 slots since yesterday in COVID vaccine doses administered per 100 people. When asked directly if there was anything in retrospect or he wishes he would have acted earlier on, Trudeau, of course, said, "No, stop dissenting. It is dear leader when you address me." Oh no. He said, "No, not in terms of our vaccine rollout. I mean, come on. How many countries are there in the world? And we're only 45th? Come on, look at how much better we're doing than everybody else." No. It's extremely hard from last summer onwards to sign many different contracts with different potential vaccine makers around the world. Well, you're one of the biggest trading partners, the closest country, the closest modern nation to the place where all of the vaccine... That gets the noggin jogging. I guess that's what happens when you have covert TDS. And we were among the first countries to start getting approved vaccines into arms back in December. Oh no, those vaccines didn't exist. Biden said that he didn't have access to those vaccines when he was inaugurated, so somebody's lying. Trudeau says he has no regrets over his government's vaccine procurement and rollout because he is an asshole. Oh, Conservative Party leader Erin O'Toole has criticized the Trudeau government over tarnishing Canada's international reputation. This normally wouldn't work, nor would I normally care, but this is Trudeau's modus operandi. He is all about optics. He is not about substance whatsoever. And there's no other way to put it. Canada in the middle of the pack, in contrast to the rest of the fucking world, when most, if not all of the other developed countries in the world are getting their countries vaccinated at a rapid rate. That reflects badly on the person who thinks that they need to be one of the global forces in the one world government eventually when they can institute that with the Great Reset. But attacking him on optics is the most effective way to affect his base. And we can see that's why he is slipping, at least in the poll that we seen yesterday. But I can't give Erin O'Toole too much credit because he is, of course, a weak-kneed asshole. Erin O'Toole says he would vote against Conservative MP's bill on sex-selective abortion. 84% of Canadian adults polled said abortion should be illegal for families who are going forward with the operation based on baby's sex. No, O'Toole thinks that you should be able to do that. And thinks, yeah, if you want to have a son and you're going to be popping out a daughter, fire up the Hoover and try again in a couple of weeks. I don't know, right? I did a little bit of cursory research before dropping down on this, and the earliest you can determine, and it's not 100% certain, only like 98 or 99% certain, you can do a chromosome test on your unborn child at 10 weeks, okay? That is normally where I would concede, like, if you want to have an abortion for whatever reason, if it was a regret, if it was something that was going wrong, if you're not in a good situation, and one just slipped past the goalie. There is a multitude of reasons, and you want to get an abortion before the end of the first trimester, I'd concede there, okay? That's fine. And if you want to get rid of it for whatever reason, listen, it doesn't have a heartbeat yet. It doesn't have brain function. It is not a sustainable entity outside of the womb, no matter how far we've advanced so far in medical technology. I would concede that, right? But anything past that, I don't know. Like, okay, you figure out you're doing that chromosome test at 10 weeks. You realize that you're going to be giving birth to a large-headed piano mover. If you don't want to be burdened with that, I totally 100% agree. I don't think that the world needs any more burdens on it. And if you want to fucking suck that out, or if you just want to go ahead and take a belly first trip down the steps, be my guest. Okay? I know that they're the most loving people you'll ever meet, and they're just caring. Of course they're loving and caring. They're just loving and caring that you didn't follow through on your boyfriend's left hook to the body. Tasteless jokes aside, yeah, if you're in charge of the Conservative Party of Canada, you should be listening to your constituents. 84% of Canadians don't want you to do this. Why would you be taking your personal opinion? It says so far he hasn't instructed his shadow cabinet, but you could imagine that he'd probably break out the whip and make sure that everybody is going to be voting. Just showing that there is no right-wing party in Canada, okay? There is no populist movement. Erin O'Toole is just a liberal in a blue suit. Here's the cursory information on this one. Conservative leader Erin O'Toole said he would vote against MP Kathy Wagenthal's, private member's bill, which is just a bill that is presented by the backbenchers out there. The Selective Abortion Act, cabinet to vote in the same. Wagenthal's held a press conference earlier on Monday morning to discuss her private member's bill, C-233, that, if adopted, would prohibit abortions from proceeding with sex-selective abortions, usually done to avoid having a baby girl. No, that would be using China's one-child policy logic. Let's say you have a big family, right? Okay, you have 4 kids, and she's going to be plopping out the 4th heir. Well, you don't have the means, you don't have the space, and you don't have the accommodations required for a 5th or a 6th try at it, and you just want to start over again. Guess what? I know that that's just a very obscure circumstance, but painting it that way to try to appeal to the identity politics crowd doesn't help anybody. Listen, I'm very much a fan of adopting the left's policies, making them adhere to their own structures, making them accountable for their own actions as according to their own arbitrary rules, like all of those Me Too allegations. Listen, if you want to convict somebody without due process, but somebody on your own side wants to diddle somebody underage, yeah, go after them. And just make sure that you keep it in your own fucking camp. Conservatives don't have to do that kind of stuff, okay? But when you adopt them and you try to play power politics, you try to play identity politics rather, you want to say, hey, look at this is our first member of, or a person of color who's going to be a part of our cabinet. Isn't it great? Isn't it wonderful? Well, is she qualified? Oh, not so much. I mean, look at her. She's black. That meets our diversity quota. No. I was asking if she's qualified to be Minister of Transportation. Let's just pick that one. She's a woman. I want competent people for competent work. And I know that this is probably just a little bit of a throwaway line, but whenever I see them trying to appeal to identity politics, don't stray into something that the left is exceptionally good at, and the end goal is equity, and nobody should be wanting equity. Anyways, O'Toole, however, said he would vote against the bill. I'm pro-choice, and I will be voting against this private member's bill. Fucking God damn it. I will always, as PM, defend the rights of all Canadians. Oh, no. You might as well just say I'm with her at this point, fucker. Including Canadians to make the decisions for themselves. 84% of Canadians, adults polled, said abortion should be illegal for families who are going to go forward with the operation because of the baby's sex. Listen, it's 84%. You are the face of the only prominent right-wing party in Canada. You're going to have to wear this one, pal. And it's unfortunate that he is the only legitimate opposition to what's coming up, because there's not a formal election that need be called for at least a couple of years, but the snap election has been in the back of everybody's mind for a while, especially with Bill C-19 going through the legislature rather. But long and short of it is, Trudeau's slipping in the polls, so I don't know if we're going to be having a snap election anytime soon, and given enough time, there will be another ethics violation from Trudeau. So maybe, I don't know, he's just going to call it when something pops up in his face in order to just get another cheap victory and another secured 4 years in power. This could be one of those situations, but at the same time, you're not really appealing to anybody else who's going to be required in order to put you in the prime minister's seat. Pissing off your base is not a very good thing, right? Okay. So we got this here. Like I referenced earlier, Air Canada, Canadian government reach agreement in a $5.9 billion liquidity program. Okay. What is this? This is the bailout for Air Canada, Canada's largest, not the best, not even by a long shot, airline company. And the workers are not happy. It's not happy. Air Canada and the federal government have reached an agreement on a $5.9 billion aid package that the company says will speed up customer refunds, protect industry jobs, and return service to some communities that were shuttered due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a news release provided through the government's large employer emergency financing facility, LEFUF, program that includes $4 billion in loans and $500 million investment in Air Canada stock because they had to bail them out just not that long ago in order to make Air Canada still function because they mismanaged themselves well into the ground. And I believe that was Paul Martin who bailed them out, but I don't remember. But I know that Air Canada is predominantly controlled by the state at this point. Even more so now, $500 million more so. I'm confident this agreement sets a standard for how such inventions should be designed for the interest of Canadians and workers coming first. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Christina Freeland. Oh, I got a 4-letter word for you. Reporters in French on Monday evening. Ugh. Once again, just fucking... identity politics. That's all the Liberals do. Part of the agreement, Air Canada has agreed to several stipulations, including issuing refunds for passengers who have booked a flight since February of 2020. Oh my God, could you imagine paying for a flight in advance of February 2020 and not yet receiving a refund for a flight that has been canceled for well over a year at this point? Unbelievable. This is our... From me to fly from here to the other side of the country, for me to go and catch a Blue Jays game if they ever go back to the Sky Dome, and if the MLB ever sticks their head out of their ass, it would be non-aggressive 4 digits for me to return fare. From here to probably Edmonton, I would be looking at, from here, from Grand Prairie to Toronto, no word of a lie, it would be upwards of $2,000. Okay? It's retarded. It really is. But here's where it gets juicy. Because just like Democrats in the United States, the Liberal Party adopted the old platform of the NDP, looking out for the working man. We're the party of unions. Well, the NDP went too far to the left, and Justin Trudeau seen an opening, picked them up and said, hey, you're on our team now, don't worry. From Wesley Layoski, president of Air Canada's component of the Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE of Canada. This announced at Air Canada and to the stability of the company going forward. But it's tough to think this is what we waited 13 months for. This announcement leaves over 7,500, okay, 3 times more than who are being compensated, of my members with no answer and no income supports. CUPE, which represents 10,000 flight attendants in Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge, whatever, girls airline, said the financial package betrays the government's commitment to support airline workers affected by the pandemic. We had a commitment from the Trudeau government, just open corruption, you'll love to see it, that any relief measures, and the commitment has not reflected in this agreement. CUPE, sure. National President Mark Hancock said in a statement, well, you're going to have plenty of time to use your hand for your cock. This deal is exactly what we feared a deal cooked up behind closed doors would look like. It's a year late, no transparency, and not nearly enough to support the thousands of flight attendants still reeling from the impacts of the pandemic. Yeah, it sounds like this guy just got his first dose of the here, and we don't like it. We don't like it. We were told one thing and sold a bill of goods that reads nothing like what we agreed to. Well, welcome to Western Canada. We've been dealing with that since 2015, right? The Liberal Party of Canada pays you lip service. It just doesn't care about you. And I'm not stumping for the Conservative Party of Canada, not by a long shot. I think Erin O'Toole is an incompetent asshole, and I will tell you at every single term, whenever whenever he is brought up, I think that he's the worst possible decision. He's going to lead to eventually a humiliating loss for the Conservatives, because they should be gaining a lot more ground. We'll just have to see when that snap election eventually gets called, because Trudeau's going to get cold feet. He's going to have more skeletons come out of his closet, because he's going to need to be going back in there very shortly. He has a lust for power. That's why he's going after your free speech online. That's why he's paying off his friends, but not too much, right? That's why he's enriching his family members and very few other people. These are the acts of a desperate man in a bad situation. I just hope it only gets worse for him and his pain is continuous and immeasurable. But I don't wish that for anybody else who stuck around through the end of the video. I actually thank you all very much for the gift of your time. That was smooth. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.